So shout out to my brothers and sisters, Tia, Tiara, Jarrell, Taquan. Also, shout out to my mom. Shout out to my uncles. Shout out to all my aunties and all my family and friends. Just Mario especially, I gotta put him in say his name or else he'll feel some type of way. Hello everyone, my name is Tika Westerfield. I'm 37 years old and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. All right, so we are a family of 6. This family of 6 consists of my mom, my 2 brothers, my 2 sisters, and myself. I was the oldest of 5, and for the majority of our life, we lived on the north side of Chicago. During that time, we moved all over Chicago. At one point, we stayed on the south side for a small period of time, but the majority of our life, we stayed on the north side of Chicago. We went through a lot of stuff. We wasn't the most well-off family. We were pretty poor. And because we were poor, we went through a lot of bullying at school. We went through times where we didn't have food, or the lights got turned off, or the heat was off and we had to boil water. One thing I could say is that we've always been adaptable because we survived several different situations, from having an apartment where we had all our furniture to losing it and starting over from scratch several different times. So our family is kind of resilient in that area because we've always been able to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off and get through whatever situation was thrown at us. I think that Valerie, my great-grandmother, gave me a strong foundation, morals, morally as well as spiritually, and other things that regardless of whatever we was going through, we relied on God. Other than that, we relied on each other. Valerie, she really did instill those qualities in us. I remember even going to Arkansas when I was 7 to go stay with my aunt, who pretty much had everything. And some of the words that Valerie said when I was leaving was, "Don't forget where you came from." Well, I was the oldest of 5. I have a mother who, was addicted to, substances due to some of the things that she went through in her life. And being the oldest, a lot of that responsibility of raising, my brothers and sisters fell on me, as well as just trying to get through the various situations that was happening due to, her lifestyle and some of the things that she went through. So like I said, just being the oldest and trying to figure out how to pay the rent, or making sure, going grocery shopping and making sure that I bought enough food that would last us throughout the month for a family of 6 or 7, depending on, who my mom was with at the time. We did have a few, friends, god sisters, who was in the same situation as us. I wouldn't say still in my particular situation. They also had a mother who, had her challenges with substance abuse, and they had their own challenges, throughout their life because of that. But my situation was very unique because it was 5 of us. And again, we managed to go through that, some horrible situations as far as like financially and, not having people around and some of the things that we went through. But I, was able to beat the odds of us never going into like a DCFS taking us away, or, us like literally being out on the streets. Like I said, we was able to always pick ourselves up and dust each other off. And so I think that's what make our situation a little bit more unique, even though there are other people, in our community that probably had parents who was addicted to substance. I've definitely dealt with situations where I felt like people in my circle or people around me didn't like me. Even coming from my own family. For instance, I have an aunt, and I don't know why she don't like me, but the rumor is she's never liked me from birth. And so there was situations in my life where I was definitely outcasted. You can't, I mean, she couldn't say that she just didn't like my mom or none of her kids because she didn't even treat them the way that she treated me. It was definitely a big difference. And I remember one time walking down the alley to go to their house because they always stayed within a block of my great-grandmother. And we walking in, got birthday hats on, ready to celebrate his birthday. And she turned me around at the door and I had to walk back through the alley by myself. And me and Vari, she was just like, don't worry about it. She cussed her out and me and her sat there eating watermelon, laughing, watching Golden Girls. But, I definitely had to deal with people, not liking me for whatever reasons. I think the worst time was when I was about 15, 16. I was going to Lane Tech and the family had pretty much separated. My oldest brother, Taquan, he was staying with my Uncle Shannon. Tia, Tiara, and Jarrell, they were staying with their dad. And me and my mom were supposed to be staying with Bernice, but my mom ended up staying with her boyfriend at the time, Mr. Trice. And that left me by myself, at 15, 16 years old, staying with, our cousin, Bernice. While it was fun, because we always had a lot of fun over there, being that young, I shouldn't have been by myself, because I felt alone a lot of times without family. So I think that was one of the hardest periods, going through that. My mom, she wasn't far away, and she would come by and check on the house, but it was supposed to be me and her, so I think that was the most difficult period. And you could tell because I was rebelling, I was smoking weed and, cutting class, and I just didn't care about a lot of stuff. It's funny because me and my mom was just on the phone the other day and she was on 43rd and Direction. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to cut school over there. She's like, oh, you love bragging about stuff you used to do now that you're grown. And I'm like, well, it was during that period of time where I was being rebellious and, just doing whatever I wanted to do. Probably wasn't in the most safe neighborhood, but just didn't care because I felt alone. Well, I can definitely say that my childhood, despite how challenging it was, it definitely gave me the motivation to push forward. And no matter what I'm doing, I'm gonna be the best at it. I didn't go to school for hospitality classes and stuff, but right now I am the director of catering and events at a major hotel. And job offers are thrown at me left and right almost every day to either run somebody's restaurant or manage somebody's, restaurant or hotel somewhere. And I've never been to, a hospitality class a day in my life, but it just goes to show that regardless of whatever you're going through or whatever you've been through in your childhood, you can't let that define who you're gonna be. And so for me, like I said, I can be a janitor. I'm gonna be the best janitor you ever seen in your life. I can always outwork the next person because I'm never gonna be in that situation again, and I'm not gonna allow my nieces and nephews to be in that situation. So one of the things that I want people to know about me when I'm gone is that I love my family and I'm a God-fearing woman. And hopefully I was able to do something that left an impression on you in your life to be positive and help you move in the right direction. And that's pretty much what I gotta say, but mostly just that I love my family and would do anything for them.
Love you, sis.
Love you too, bro.